Okay. Hi, my name is Sevi, and I'm going to be presenting on this week's lesson, Performance Art and the Politics of the Body. So we had five readings this week, which was a lot, all very good, all very different. Start off with Gordon Graham. We read more Philosophy of the Arts, and this was about the performing arts. And pretty much this piece captured that performance is a living art. It happens in real time between performer and audience. So the audience is engaged. It's all about stage presence. It's all about what you're making the audience feel. It's not a one-way communication model. It's not just, I put this here and that's that. It's all about how the audience interprets it and their perception and how they engage with it, which is what we see a lot in our screening later on, is how that performance is a two-way communication. And it also talked a lot about the body and actions and movements, which is why I just had a performer image here, because it's all about how you embody the art and how you put it out there. If you're very still, if you're very monotone, that is not going to bring the art to life. It's all about performance. And then we had The Birth of Tragedy by Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche. That's how I'm trying my best. This piece was about Apollyon and Dionysian. Sorry if I'm also pronouncing that wrong, but pretty much about order and reason versus emotion and chaos, and how those two are very different yet go hand in hand, especially in art. Performance has to bring both together almost. You can't just have simple order, vanilla. You need some fire, you need some action. And those two things balance each other. It's like equilibrium. You have just the right amount of one, just the right amount of the other. And that's how you get a perfect story, is that blend. And he talks about how tragedy and performance reveal shared human feelings. So basically, tragedy is kind of the center of all intense emotion, and how then that can build such a beautiful art outside of it. So then our next readings were, we had The Quiet Years by Coco Fusco, and we have her film later on, and Hamza Walker. And this looked at her at Fusco's work, and more so her time in between work, her time, the quiet years in between her performances, and how those moments, that silence, that pause, that step away from the work is where are the all the art actually comes from, is that in between, is just the simple moments of the silence is where all her ideas really came from, is from the quiet years. And she also talks about how the artist's body becomes both message and medium. So you can be physically performing, but it's more than just the medium of the art. It's the message, it's what you're presenting, it's what you're putting out there, which is what performance art is kind of all about. And then we had a small little reading just from the article Performance Art by Tate, which was just pretty much telling us what performance art is, which is just a live and time-based medium. It's just focuses on how art world rules, challenges norms, and often explores identity and gender. And performance art is just a lot more progressive and out there and exploratory. And then we had Celia Martinez, which her piece breaks down The Couple in the Cage, which is the film that we watched later on, and how it uses humor and performance to show how power and race shape who gets seen. So the film was very, and that project that they did was very humorous and kind of seen as silly, but that's not, the message is way deeper. And so Celia Martinez goes into how perception, basically all about how the audience is engaging, how the audience is taking it in, and how that really forms the art. And in The Couple in the Cage, I mean, the it's all about how the audience takes it, because if they all see it and just walk by it, then there's nothing deep, there's nothing more there. And she also goes into how the body is used as a form of resistance, which we haven't discussed in previous mediums. We've always talked about art as resistance, but the body specifically is an art form in itself. So then we had our screening, which was the film The Couple in the Cage, 1993, and it was about two undiscovered Americans that are displayed in a cage to critique colonial spectacle. So I have images here, and then as well an image of Coco Fusco. And this was basically just used to tackle racist stereotypes and assumptions of Native people as savages. That is a word directly used. And it was about public engagement and critique. The whole thing is about public engagement. It's how the audience treats them, how the audience reacts to it. They're laughing, they think it's funny, but it's a deeper experience. It's it's used to show that we have all these embedded stereotypes, even that sorry, I'm trying to find my words. This is supposed to be funny and performative, and it can be seen as so simple, but when you look at what it's deeply rooted in, this is racism. These are stereotypes. I mean, thinking of these people, the artists, as savages, as people who don't understand America. I mean, we have clips of them being fed as if they're like animals in a cage when really they're two people. And yeah, it was basically just used to break down that stereotype, and not see Native people as exotic and different than just they're Americans, as we're Americans, and they don't need to be treated as animals in a cage. And this whole piece just shows how the public engagement and perception and performance art is a two-way communication model. Art is all about two-way communication. So, our common themes that I took away is the body as a canvas. We had in our readings, obviously, Graham talks about how we can use the body, and then we see that physically in the screening. These are real people. It's an art form, but these are people that are physically there using their bodies as the art. And then we have silence as power. We obviously got the quiet years, which talks about, how Coco Fusco found her silence as the best time to create her pieces, but also in these other works where it is all about interpretation and you have no words from the artists directly, you have no words from the performers directly. It's all about the silence and how you take it in, which is goes to my next point, audience create meaning for pieces. I mean, without audiences engaging, especially in the film, your art has no meaning because it's all about how you want other people to interpret it. It's all about how your performance makes people feel, makes people understand, makes people question. And art as this aesthetic resistance is a theme that we feel every week. I mean, art is always used as a form to talk about the things that people don't want to talk about, to represent more than just something beautiful. It's something deep. It's something culturally significant for this week and something that you have to think deeper in order to truly understand. And this week was definitely one of those weeks where you can't just look at everything from a surface level. You have to go in, you have to engage, you have to see the art as a performance, not just as a piece. And going off of that, I have two discussion questions. What forms of modern art most commonly intersect the ideas of both chaos and order, which was Nietzsche's theories? And is there a time period in your life that you would section out as the quiet years? And if yes, why? So thank you so much for listening this week. And yeah, I enjoyed.